Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So I know I haven't uploaded a video. If you guys noticed, I was uploading every 3 days. So I would upload one video and then in 3 days I would upload another one. Another 3 days I would upload another one. But I just got caught up with other things that I really didn't upload. But for today's video, I wanted to record a foundation routine, but for more targeted towards oily skin, so more like of a matte kind of finish foundation, just because, as you guys know, I am more of a matte kind of girl. I don't really like dewy. If I had to choose between dewy and matte, I would definitely choose matte, just because I think it looks better. Yeah, dewy skin can look a little bit more hydrating, but more matte is for me, just because I like it looking like kind of airbrush is my main thing. So for today's video, that's what we're going to be focusing on today, which is a matte finish foundation. So if you want to see how to achieve that kind of look, then just feel free and keep on watching. But before you continue watching, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you guys aren't already, and make sure to turn your post notifications on so you guys are notified every single time I upload a new video. So getting right on into the video, I went ahead and I did my brows, I applied lashes, yada yada. But now moving on to the skin, in order for you to achieve like a matte kind of finish, I think that primer has a big part in it, because if you kind of go in with a dewy foundation, if you go in with a dewy primer and you go in with like a matte foundation, to me personally, I feel like there's no point of using the dewy, because it's going to be more like of a satiny finish. It's not going to give you a matte finish. So that's why I prefer going in with matte primers, even though my foundation is matte. But what you can do as well, which is what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to go in with a matte primer and a kind of dewy satiny finish on a foundation. But once I go ahead and I set my face, it's going to be all matte. And I'll show you guys like side by side how it looks matte and then how it looks without the powder. So for the primer, I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Perfecting Primer. So as you guys can see, this is the primer that I'm going to be using. And obviously it is matte, so it's going to give me more of a matte finish. So I'm just going to take this one. And the reason why I like this one is because when you apply it, it does feel like cooling on the skin, but it also provides you that matte finish that you're looking for. Okay, so while that is soaking into the skin, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the foundation. The foundation that I'm going to be using today is the Wet n Wild Photofocus Foundation in the shade Golden Beige, So it looks like this. I did review this foundation on my channel already. I'll go ahead and leave that link down below. But the reason why I like this primer is because it's drugstore, it's inexpensive, but it is full coverage. This one does provide a little bit of a kind of dewiness to it, but like I said, once you go in with your powder and you set everything, you do not get that dewy finish no more. So this one says it's Precision Match Color with Matte Second Skin Finish. Like I said, to me personally, I feel like it's not matte right away, but I'll go ahead and show you guys little tips and tricks of how to get your foundation to look matte when using like a dewy foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and just shake this up. And we are getting into the fall. I'm wearing my long sleeve, my turtleneck. I'm so happy that fall is coming, because I love the fall. If you guys ask anybody that knows me personally, I love the fall, just because I can wear my boots, I can wear my scarves, my long sleeves. I don't know, I feel like you can dress up really cute as well. So I'm going to go in with this foundation. And it comes like in a paddle kind of thing, so I'm just going to apply that. And I do like more full coverage, so I just dipped in twice, and this is how much I got. And now I'm going to take my Morphe Beauty Blender, and I'm going to take one side, and then I'm just going to start to blend that out. So I've been recently watching this show that my aunt told me about. It's called The Blacklist. It's on Netflix. It is so good. It's kind of hard to explain. My friend was asking me like what it's about, but it's kind of hard to explain. The only thing that I can say is it's kind of like Law and Order and all those like kind of murder investigation shows, because it has to do with like murders and like them investigating, but there's a little twist on it. I don't want to give it away, but you guys should watch it. Okay, so now that I went ahead and I applied the foundation, I'm not sure if you guys can kind of see around this area how it gives me a little bit of a kind of dewy finish. It does look obviously not so matte, but it does not give me what I'm looking for like right off the bat. And I'm going to take my Bare Minerals concealer and I'm just going to do like my normal routine. And this isn't something that I've changed, it's just more focusing on how to achieve more of a matte finish. So I'm going to go ahead and take the other side of my sponge and then just start to blend that out. Okay, so before I go ahead and I set my under eye, what I have been doing and I've been loving is I do cream contour. So I'm going to take my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Chestnut, and what I do is, you guys can skip this step and you guys can just bronze your skin after you set your powder, but I like the way that it kind of leaves my skin looking a little bit more like airbrushed. So then I'm just going to go in with this e.l.f. small stippling brush, and I literally just tap it, and then I just bring it up. And this kind of just helps giving my bronzer like another layer. So like, let's say my powder somehow comes off or whatever the case may be, I have the cream underneath to still give me that bronze kind of look. So did you guys see how easy that was to blend out? Super easy. A big tip that I had learned, and it helped me a lot, was setting my entire face with powder and then going in with powder, because before I would just apply my foundation. I would only set my under eye and then go in with my powder, like my bronzer or contour, whatever the case may be. But that was a big mistake, because if you guys think about it, if you guys are going in with like a dewy foundation and you guys are just applying the powder on top, you're pretty much just sliding that foundation and that bronzer all over, and that's when it starts to get a little bit patchy or it starts to look kind of muddy, which was my case. I was not setting my entire face with powder. I would just go in directly with the powder on top of my foundation that wasn't set, and my bronzer was looking really nasty and muddy. But I quickly changed that routine and it helped out a lot. So as you guys can see, this honestly just helped so much more. I added way more color into my skin. And that was only a little bit. As you guys can see, I didn't apply too much. So then what I'm going to do, you guys can use any powder, but now I'm going to go ahead and talk about powders. This powder that I have used, and I've used 3 different powders, translucent powders. And I have used a couple pressed powders. So the 3 translucent powders that I have used are the Laura Mercier, the Kat Von D, and the Cover FX one. So the Laura Mercier one I used to use all the time when I first started doing my makeup. I used it all the time and I loved it. I don't remember, I can't give you my opinion. Why can't I give you my opinion? I love the way that it left my skin looking. It left it really airbrushed, matte, not too glowy, not too dry, none of that. But now I have heard instances where it's too drying and it looks kind of cakey. Me personally, I haven't tried it in like a couple of years, so I can't say how it works now, but when I used it before, I loved it. The Kat Von D one, however, this is the one that I had previously used that I just finished. I did not like that one whatsoever. In the beginning, when I was using it, I did like it, and I was using it every day, but because I had it, but I didn't like it because it gave me more of a kind of satiny finish, and when I set my face or my under eye, whatever the case was, it gave me kind of like a shimmer look underneath my eye or on my entire face, and I did not like it whatsoever. It just looked really like if I use like a dewy foundation, and like I said, I don't use dewy foundations or whatever. So I was like, obviously I used it all because I spent my money on it, so I used all of it. But that was my opinion on that one. And now the one that I use now and I absolutely love is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and it looks like this. The reason why I got this one was because Jaclyn Hill used it, and you guys all know Jaclyn Hill's makeup always looks so good and so just airbrushed and like so nice. So I picked it up. This one retails, I want to say, for $30 to $48, I want to say. But I've used quite a bit. Not that I'm almost out, but I've used quite a bit. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and use to set my under eye with today and my entire face. Going back to pressed powders, I personally don't like pressed powders because I feel like, honestly, they don't really do anything for me. The ones that I have used is the Clinique one. It came like in a little green packaging. And then the one that I have right now, which I did mention in one of my videos, is the Makeup Forever. Where is it? It's the Makeup Forever Duo Matte, and it looks like this. Again, I mean, me personally, I feel like they don't really do anything for me. I feel like I would rather just go in with translucent powder. So then what I'm going to do, it has like a little opening like this, and I'm just going to put some into the top. I'm going to go in and just blend out any creases. So I'm going to do one side of my face with the setting powder, and then I'm going to leave the other one so you guys can see the difference of like the without the powder and then with the powder. So then I'm going to take the clean side of the Beauty Blender. I'm going to go in with my setting powder. So just like that. And then what I do, and what gives me the most like matte finish and like more airbrush, is I kind of just tap off the excess, and then I start to just blend that into the skin and just melt it in. And this gives me like the most matte finish, but it looks airbrush at the same time. Because me personally, I don't like baking because I feel like the baking, it gives it a different finish. Like if I were to wipe it off with the brush, which is that's what happened when I used the Kat 1D one, is I would apply it, but once I like wiped it off with the brush, that's when it gave me like that glittery kind of shimmer finish. Okay, so as you guys can see already, this is the side that I use the powder on, so you guys can see how much of a difference that is. This one looks way more matte than this one. And this one kind of, as you guys can see, this one without the powder, it looks more light underneath my eye. This one, it's still light, but it kind of like it kind of calmed it down. So then what I do is I get more of the powder like this, but I kind of tap it onto my face. And first I apply it underneath the bronzer, and then my smile lines. We do want to set the contour, the cream contour that we did, but we don't want to set it too much because we are going to go in on top with more powder bronzer, and we don't want to apply too much powder. So then with whatever was left on my hand, I just kind of picked it up, and then I literally just lightly blended and set that. So definitely you guys can see a difference. So I'll go ahead and show you. So this is the side that we didn't set it with. So you guys can see right about here, I start to get like that glowy, like if I have highlight on. And just overall, it looks more like, it looks hydrated, but it doesn't look so matte. So again, this is this side. So now moving on to this side. I can't see because my monitor is on this side. But this is the side with the powder. So as you guys can see, if I were to face forward, you guys can definitely see the difference. This looks more glowy compared to this side. This one kind of just looks like nice and airbrushed. And this is why I love going in with these products, because it really does make a difference. But yeah, so this is the side without the powder. And then this is the side with the powder. So now we went ahead and we set the face, as you guys can see. Both sides now look really matte and really airbrushed. So now going on with powder on top. I don't want to go in with nothing too heavy because we already went ahead and we applied the cream contour. But I'm going to go in with my Kat 1D Shade and Light Contour Palette. And I'm going to take this shade right here. It's not too warm and it's not too cool. It's like right in the middle. And the brush that I'm going to be using is this BH Cosmetics brush. I like brushes like this just because the bristles are a little bit more looser and it's not going to pack it on too like intense. So I'm just going to literally just get a little bit top off the edges, and I'm literally using the lightest hand, and I'm just going to apply that on top. And the reason why I'm using a light hand is because I don't want to apply it too intensely, like I said, because we already have that kind of color and that bronzer underneath. So now moving on to highlight, I'm going to take this big fluffy brush from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to take my Anastasia and Amrezy Highlight. It looks like this. I still cannot get over that. I recently purchased the Joseph Colors Desi X Katie Highlight in Fuego. and I'm really, really excited to get that. If you're looking for more of a matte finish, I wouldn't recommend highlighting like your entire face. Only pretty much on the highest points of your cheeks, which is about right around here. I do apply it to the apples of my cheeks a little bit, but I would not recommend highlighting like on top of your brow bone, your chin. I do apply a little bit to my cupid's bow. But if you want more of like that matte completely finish, I would only recommend doing it on the highest points of the cheeks. Then I go in with my Morphe setting spray. This one doesn't necessarily say if it's more, this one just says a micro fine mist sets liquid or powder makeup with a radiant finish. To me personally, I feel like it doesn't give me a radiant finish. I feel like it just kind of melts all the powders together to not have it look so cakey and powdery. So I'm going to go ahead and set my face with that. There are setting powders for more like matte finishes, so you guys can go in with this one. But since we went ahead and, not that we applied too much powder, but since we went ahead and I applied a good amount of powder, I feel like it doesn't give me that radiant finish. And I don't apply a lot either. So then I'm just gonna set. Okay, so that pretty much concludes this entire video on a more matte finish, or how to achieve more of a matte finish foundation. So this is what the look came out to. Of course, like I said, obviously in this area right here we applied highlight, so it looks a little bit more wet and dewy, but as of the rest of the face, it looks pretty much matte, airbrush if you ask me. Again, I did the side by side in the video of the powders, of the powdered side and no powder, so you guys were able to see how much of setting your face actually makes a difference. But yeah, this was the entire look. If you guys learned any tips and tricks, go ahead and leave them down in the comments down below. I would really like to hear what you learned, or if you've used it before, or whatever the case may be. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and that is pretty much all I have to say, and I will see you guys on the next one.